it comes down to another thing. What can we do? We could march in the streets, hold signs all day long, and it has some effect, but not the effect the outcome that we're really looking for. I think the effects has to start. One of them is in the ballot.
Yes.
In order to have reform, you have to get certain people out of there who don't have your best interests at hand.
Yes.
To make a difference. We did it during the Civil Rights Movement. Ms. Stewart, that was a time when big cities, particularly small cities, didn't have a mayor, didn't have state representative and Congress or the state legislature. And that movement was proud upon getting people out to vote, making changes. And you see how far we've come in that, a long way. So it does make a difference. Those people who represent you does make a difference.
To piggyback on your point, Larry, voting is such an important thing. I mean, it's a huge power that we have. And so many people sacrificed and lost their lives just for us to have the right to vote as a people. And when I say us, I mean us as African Americans. So much bloodshed that was poured over the right to vote, and I'll speak to the younger generation because I was born out of it. I cringe when I hear the young people say, "Well, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't count anymore."
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a sad thing to say. If your vote didn't count, why would they try so hard to suppress it?
Right.
They know your vote counts, and they want you to think that your vote does not count because they don't want you to vote. It's so much that can be done, so much that can be changed if you only go out and vote. You have the right to vote, so do it. That's something. It's a sacred right, and you know.
And it's interesting you go on that subject because I know you have a strong interest in the restoration of rights. I think Florida is one of 3 states that don't automatically restore your rights once you serve your time in jail, in prison. And I think there's a system that intentionally does this for obvious reason because a lot of those people vote a certain way. And what are we doing or you plan to do to help restore those rights? And I know we had a governor at one time that did, and then when he was replaced, it quickly went away. And so you have hundreds of thousands of individuals who they say, "Hey, I paid my price, but why can't they restore my rights?"
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Larry. One thing I've been preaching since I got on the campaign trail is what they call second chance programs, restoration of rights, helping people who've been convicted of a felony and who've served their time get their rights back, their right to vote, which, I mean, I'm at a loss for words when I think about some of the things that's been done just to try to keep, people from voting. The right to vote. Also, I talked about just trying to seal and expunge certain records, so when people do get out of situations that they've been in, they can find a job. And that's something going back to the public defender's office that needs to be done when our clients are pled out. They need to understand, the ramifications of their plea. How's it going to affect them in the future? They enter these pleas to felonies. They need to know that when you get out, you won't have the right to vote. You won't have the right to hold public office. You won't have the right to sit on a jury. They need to understand that and know that before they say, yes, I'll take this plea or whatever.
Right. So there's the education piece right there again.
Yeah, they also need to know, hey, when you get out, you may not have you probably won't even be able to rent a house, to buy a home because of what
good point.
The choice that you made. And that I'm so big on that. And also the kids. You want to educate the kids and making sure they understand the ramifications of getting into trouble and going to the juvenile detention center. It's not just something that's in the moment. This stuff is going to follow you for the rest of your life.
One thing that we can't do, and we did it in the civil rights movement. We marched, we did everything, we burnt houses, we burnt businesses, we fought furiously. We had meetings every night in churches when someone would come and speak and da-da-da-da-da, we was riled up. We was bought in to protesting and sacrifice. And then something happened after we got those rights. May not be old enough to remember. But we became dormant. We thought we had made it.
Most definitely.
And while we thought we was made it, what was brewing was the next phase. Mm-hmm. And we're in that phase and the effects of that phase now where we are just
existing.
Resisting, and we're just responding, We're not proactive, we just react to things.
Correct.
Correct. Having said all that, vote.
Not just for president. Please vote for your local representatives. Those are the ones who determine your light bill, determine things that affect your everyday life. It's so important to vote in the primaries and as well as the general election. Whenever you hear the word vote, you should think about, when do I go? And do research on the people that you're voting for, so you'll know exactly what you're asking for and the change that these people are going to bring, if any change at all. One thing I did want to say, Larry, is I've come to understand that in Polk County, there's this political culture that, one certain party is basically in control over another certain party. And it shouldn't be that way. It definitely shouldn't be that way. And that's another reason I'm running, is for change. If you are qualified for a position and you want to run for that position, you should definitely run for that position. Now, this position I'm running for has been unopposed for over 30 years. Unopposed. And some people ask me, well, I didn't even know you ran for that position.
Right. Right. Same thing with the state attorney's office.
Yes. So people don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. Like I said, I have 3 children of my own, and I want to show them and the next generation that don't be afraid. Go out and stand up for what you believe in. And if you want to run for office or do it, whatever you set your mind to, do it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't.
We hope that this has been a worthwhile conversation. And Tonya, I want to wish you the best, and your team, your husband, your manager, and of putting forth this effort and putting your name in the hat. I wish the best of luck to you. And we'll have you on again.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you, audience. Thank you, WWAB. We're tuning out for the day.